now that our title and subtitle are complete, we are going to follow some other steps to format the rest of our worksheet to make it look a little bit more visually appealing. So we'll start in row 3, and I'm going to select the range A3 through F3 here. Again, we will head up to the Cell Styles group. If we put our mouse over each of these elements, we're going to get a preview. What I'll say here is, before we kind of get going with this, it's going to change the font to Times New Roman. It's just the way our Excel is downloaded onto our computer. So while it's going to look a little funky at first, we will change it kind of at the end to get the font to match. So in row 3, we are going to go heading 1. With that range still selected, we are going to center the contents of this. And then finally, we are going to change the font size to size 13. So I'm going to type that in up above and then hit enter. Okay, now in order to kind of avoid doing all of that again, we want row 8 to do the same thing. So since I've kind of made these changes, that is, apply the cell style, I centered things, I changed the font size, you can select any cell in row 3 here. I'm just going to click on Format Painter, and then I'm going to highlight row 8, A through F, and now the same style is applied. And now this is kind of another thing that I don't like how this SAM project does this. With the text aligned to the left here, I would typically make the things in column A left aligned to match. I'm not a big fan of those column headings being center aligned, but again, this is how Sam wants us to work on this project. All right, now for row 6, A6 through F6, we're going to go ahead and select this. We will select Cell Styles, and we are going to apply the total cell style to that. We're going to do the same thing for row 18, where we'll go Cell Styles and apply a total, like so. And then you can just click off anywhere on your worksheet. So if we take a peek at our key here, you're going to see that for the rest of our data, we're going to use these alternating row colors. One's going to be a darker 60%, the other's going to be a darker 40%. So to do that quickly, we will go ahead and select A4 to F4, just as you normally would. Now, what I want you to do so we can do this all at once, and I don't have to do this, 10 different times, is I'm going to hold down the Control key. And by doing that, we're going to be able to select a non-adjacent range. That is, cells that are not next to each other in Excel. So I selected A4 to F4. I'm going to let go of my click. I'm going to hold down Control, okay, and I'm going to highlight A9 to F9, A11 to F11. And we're just going to skip every other row. So it's going to be row 13, 15, 17, and 20. Okay. And with all of those selected, we will apply the light blue 60% accent 1. And then we're going to do the same thing for row 5 and all the other blank rows. So I'm going to select row 5 to begin, just like I normally would. And then holding down the Control key again, we'll select row 10. 12, 14, and 16. And up in our Cell Styles group, we're going to apply the 40% accent 1. And then we can just click off to deselect. Now here's where I was talking about the font getting all wacky. So let's just kind of reset this to be this Calvary font. So I'm going to select A3 down to F20. And scroll all the way up to the top in your font selection, and just to make all of this just this Calvary body so it kind of matches.